Okay. This episode of Switchcraft is brought to you by Nick. Support Switchcraft and my other content for as little as $1 and get exclusive rewards at patreon.com/runjumpstomp. Thanks, Nick. Name. Patron. And we'll name this file, save project as SC155. My God, 155 episodes of this. I can't believe it. Oh, Snow Goes Ham, that'd be great. Reminder, everybody, if you want to let me know what your predictions are, well, actually, you know what? I can just do it straight through chat as well. If you want to call in, let me know. You just jump into the calling in channel on the Discord. If you are a regular, if I know who you are, if we've been hanging out for a while. Episode 155 of Switchcraft is brought to you by OP Seat. Head over to opseat.com/ref/runjumpstomp to directly support the show and get a fantastic gaming chair that can support you. I'm sitting in one right now, and it is fantastic. These are really, really comfortable. They got great lumbar support. I've got back problems, and I'm very happy to be sitting in an OP seat. Again, that's opseat.com/ref/runjumpstomp. Sponsor? Hey, Captain Logan. Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week on Tuesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. and... No, that's not right. How do I say that? I said it wrong. Let me look at the camera instead of my notes. Switchcraft is recorded live 3 times a week on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 3 p.m. U.S. Eastern and on Saturday, whatever time I can get around to it. Head on over to runjumpstomp.com and there... No, that's not right. It's twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. And when you are there, you're going to be greeted by a whole host of people. I'm looking at the list. There's a lot today. We got Snow Goes Ham, Vaxxer Zap DC'd, Awate86, Captain Logan, Aerslia, G.I. Jello, Joel Mead, Kimbalina, Link, 31254, Marquito, Ostrich Owen, Pudding, Res TV, Shubrew, Squanto, TF Wagner, and the Lurkers. I appreciate you guys hanging out with me while I talk about Nintendo. You are awesome. Let's start with some feedback. I got an email from I Really Should Be Working. I love that name, by the way. They said, "Hey RJS, long time lurker, first time writing in, love the show. Thank you for all you do. I love the Switch. I think the portability... I'm tripping over my words here. I think the portability factor is perfect for indies, but many indies today are often $20 to $30 each. Here's an idea for your viewers with access to an Xbox One. Microsoft offers a 14-day free trial to Game Pass, and it offers access to many games, including several indies new to the Switch. I was able to join Game Pass on a free trial and try out the Final Station and Rhyme, both games I'm interested in for the Switch, but was wary of paying the $20 to $30 up front without being sure I'd enjoy them. If you have an Xbox One, it's a great opportunity to try before you buy. Thanks so much. I really should be working." Well, thank you very much for that hot tip. I don't have an Xbox One, but I assume that quite a few people who listen to the show probably do, and that's a good way for people to check out games that they might be interested in for the Switch. So thank you for that email. If you want to email me, go ahead and do so. runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can tweet at me at runjumpstomp on Twitter. You can call and leave a voicemail at 260-RUN-JUMP. That's 260-786-5867. And you can join our Discord server. We've got a whole bunch of conversations. Today was kind of blowing up today because of the Direct, and we were talking all about what we were expecting to see today, what we were hoping to see, what we knew we wouldn't see. So again, that's runjumpstomp.com/discord. And it's really fun to have conversations in there. And it's not just for text conversations. We also have voice channels where people can talk while they're playing games together. So make sure that you guys use that Discord server to its fullest. That's what it's there for. And just thanks for joining me. All right, file. No. We gotta go feedback. File, save project. There we go. Run, jump, sit down in Marv's chair. Marv's chair is right there. It's usually what I sit in when I'm playing my arcade. I pull it over there, and then I open up the little door on the bottom, and I put my feet on the part where the little door is. I don't know if you guys can see that. All right. Game Pass is amazing. No, I'm currently in Marv's chair. No, Joel, this is my chair. No one sits in this chair. All right. Well, I'm not going to beat around the bush. I'm not going to bury the lead. The big story today is that there is a Nintendo Direct, and it is happening in less than 2 hours. Now, I know what you're saying. Bill, why are you recording your episode before the Direct goes out? Well, it's one of the advantages to doing a show 3 days a week, because that means I'm not going to have to wait a week before I get to my next show. So it's okay for me to record a show before the Direct goes out, and it'll even give me a chance to talk about my predictions. What do I think is going to happen today? What do I hope is going to happen today? Those kind of things. But if you did not know, the Nintendo Direct is tonight at 5 p.m. U.S. Eastern. I will be co-streaming it. So if you just go straight to, I mean, if you want to just watch it without hearing anything from me, I totally understand why you would want to do that. And I would suggest that you go to twitch.tv/Nintendo in order to watch that. But the chat on the side is going to be pretty toxic. It almost always is when you have a channel that big. And my channel is a lot smaller. So because of that, you should watch it with us. We're going to be talking about it right here at twitch.tv/runjumpstomp. I'll give my live reactions to things that are happening. And of course, I'm going to talk about the Nintendo Direct on Saturday in excruciating detail. But I wanted to talk a little bit today about predictions and what is going to be happening on today's Direct. Now that we've got all that stuff out of the way, I want to make sure that everybody tempers their expectations. We tend to have this loop that happens every time that there's a Direct. Nintendo announces that there's a Direct. People get unreasonable expectations about it. Nintendo has the Direct. People complain that the one thing that they really wanted wasn't announced. And then they get really mad at Nintendo for not fulfilling a promise that they never made to us. And then they walk away sullen. And then, a couple days later, they're like, the Direct was okay. And that's going to happen again this time. But if you are expecting to see these huge announcements on a Nintendo Direct a couple of months before E3, I think that you're going to be disappointed. I really do. Now, what did Nintendo tell us about the Direct? First off, they said that it's going to be about the 3DS and Super Mario Aces. It's going to be heavily focused on those two things. Now, I personally hope that we don't hear too much from the 3DS, and I've been thinking about what could they do, what could they bring to the 3DS that wouldn't upset me, that wouldn't bother me. Well, first off, the one thing that I think Nintendo should be doing is any game that they are bringing to the 3DS, they should absolutely be also developing for the Switch so that we get it on both systems. That's one of the things that Iwata said it seems like forever ago when he was talking about the NX. Nintendo had announced that they were going to partner with DNA in order to make these mobile games, and because Nintendo wanted to make sure that everybody didn't think that Nintendo was abandoning their own hardware, they said, "Oh, don't worry, we're still working on Project NX, and it's really going to be this thing we've been streamlining our development teams in order to make it so it's easier to bring assets from one platform to another." And we've seen things like that, things with Smash Brothers, we've seen that with Hyrule Warriors, we've seen that with Fire Emblem Warriors, and I'm sure that we will continue to see that. So I really hope that one thing that Nintendo does is that they bring games from the 3DS to the Switch, or games that are coming out on the 3DS are also coming out on the Switch, because I personally don't want to go back to that 240p screen. Now, what will they probably do? I don't really know what they're going to do, and I'm going to get these things wrong, and it's okay to be wrong. If you're not failing, you're not trying. So one thing that I think that we'll see about the 3DS today is Metroid. We're going to see DLC for, I can't remember, Metroid 2 Electric Boogaloo. I can't remember the name of the Metroid game. Return of Samus, I think. But I think we're going to see DLC for that. That's one thing that I think that we will see. I kept trying to think of it, and I've just not been paying attention to DS stuff very much. So that's really all I could think of. And if there's anything that you guys can think of, you could type it in chat right now, or you could email it to me and let me know. Obviously, you're going to probably be listening to this after the show is over, or I'm sorry, after the direct is over. So we won't know if you were right or not, but I'm excited for the direct. Now, we got the 3DS stuff out of the way, and I'm watching chat to see what people think is going to happen. Res TV says the new DS Switch Lite. Well, I don't think that'll happen, but thank goodness, because I don't think we need another 3DS. You know what? Maybe that's what we'll see. Maybe we will see another 3DS, like a new skin, because they've just brought out the Metroid one, and they keep bringing out different DSs just with different paint jobs, basically. So maybe that's what we'll see with the 3DS. I don't know. Let's move on past 3DS to the Switch, because this is Nintendo Switchcraft, and we kind of are focusing on that. N64 Josh in chat says GameStop has 5 mysterious SKUs. They're wearing like a fedora and some sunglasses, and we don't know who they are, a trench coat. 5 mysterious SKUs for 3DS games and 5 mysterious SKUs for Switch. Well, that is very interesting, N64 Josh. Thank you for sharing that, sir. Let's move on to Switch stuff. Okay, what do I think that we're going to hear about? I said, I don't know, a couple episodes ago, it feels like Diablo 3 is just taking over everything that I talk about. We keep talking about Diablo 3, and we're going to talk about it one more time, unless I'm right about this, and then I'll talk about it again. But I think that we're going to get something from Diablo 3. Now, it's weird because Blizzard tends to have its own conference. It has BlizzCon, where they tend to make all of their big announcements. But I feel like this is something that could definitely work, having it be on a Nintendo Direct. And Diablo 3 is definitely something that I think we're going to be getting for the Switch. And I think that they're going to announce it today in a couple hours. Now, if they don't, then I don't expect to hear about it until E3. And if they don't say anything about it until E3, then I wouldn't expect to hear anything about it until BlizzCon. Those are my guesses. ZapDseed says Diablo 3 is a 3DS exclusive. That's hilarious and would be terrible. Res TV says 30-minute direct, half of it will be 3DS stuff. I don't think half of it will be 3DS stuff. I think they will make a few 3DS announcements, but most of it will be Switch, because I know that there's a lot of 3DSs out there, but the mind share right now is in the Switch. Morgan13 said Gamescom is also possible for Blizzard. That's possible as well. I don't know when Gamescom is off the top of my head. I can't remember that. Now, what else am I looking forward to? I'm hoping to get a Mario Maker 2 announcement. However, Mario Maker 1 was announced at E3, and that really seems like an E3 kind of announcement, so maybe not, but I really, really want to see Mario Maker 2. I also expect to hear about some DLC. DLC for Mario Odyssey. You know, that stuff has been data mined, that there are different outfits that you'll be able to get in the game. I want to see some Mario Kart 8 DLC, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe DLC. Sorry for those of you who have the Wii U. I know that there's a lot of people who don't want DLC for Mario Kart 8. Instead, they want Mario Kart 9. And I've said this a million times, but what is the difference? You're driving a Mario Kart game, you're playing a Mario Kart game, whether it's labeled 8 or labeled 9, and 8 is already fantastic. So just give us more tracks and more characters to drive with. Fire Emblem Switch, I expect us to see some information from Fire Emblem. And by the way, guys, you in chat, I really want to hear what you think is going to be happening. So make sure you type that stuff so I can read it when I'm done with my predictions. We're going to hear something about Yoshi. Kirby's going to get a mention because it's really coming out soon, but I think that they'll spend a lot more time on the new Yoshi game than they will Kirby. Just because Kirby, we already have played the demo, we already know a lot about it, so there's not much new that they can say about it. Nindy's stuff, I think that we're going to hear about Wargroove. Wargroove is this really cool turn-based strategy game that is very much like Advance Wars, and I've really been looking forward to it. They showed it last year, it seems like forever ago, and it's got a cool pixel art style, and I'm looking forward to Wargroove. I think that we'll hear about Shovel Knight King Knight expansion pack. We'll probably see one or two new amiibo, not necessarily for Shovel Knight, but one or two new amiibo will probably be announced today. And here's what I don't think we're going to hear about. I don't think we're going to hear anything about online. I don't think we'll hear anything about Virtual Console. I don't think we'll hear anything about Metroid Prime 4. And I don't think we will hear anything about the new Pokemon game. So now that I've told you what I'm expecting today, let's take a look at what you guys are expecting today. Let's see. N64 Josh says Mario Kart DLC. Captain Logan says, well, honestly, I'm just waiting for a loot box Animal Crossing. Don't put those two things together, man. That's terrible. Joel Mead says, better yet, just skip Mario Kart 9 and let's have Mario Kart 10, just like Windows 10, right? AR Slia wants Animal Crossing. Let's see, what else? I'm looking through. Squanto says, all I want is the Wargroove release date. I know, it looks so good. Pudding says that they think that we'll get some information about Hollow Knight. That's a very good prediction as well. That game is on on the tip of a lot of people's tongues, Hollow Knight. And I'm actually looking forward to playing that. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I can't believe that I didn't think about this. So one other thing for the 3DS that they'll probably talk about is Detective Pikachu. And Morgan13 is predicting that we will get Detective Pikachu for the Switch. And that is a very good prediction. I don't know how Detective Pikachu works. I don't know how much of the bottom screen is needed with the touch inputs. I know that the Switch has a touch screen, but I don't know how important it is to have that dual screen thing going on for Detective Pikachu. Let's see, what else? Marquito says, Animal Crossing, hands down. Also, can I say it would be amazing to get Mystical Ninja game? I love the spiritual. I would love a spiritual successor to N64 Mystical Ninja starring Goemon. And Kill the Chickens 23 said, I would love a Final Fantasy VII port. Come on, Square, make it happen. And I think that those are all great predictions. I can't wait. I've got 2 hours, so it's funny. I'm going to finish the show, and then I will start editing the show. And I may have to interrupt editing the show just so that I can do the live stream. So again, if you guys are here live with me right now, if you're after the fact, then of course you're going to miss it. But if you guys are live here with me right now, just make sure that you go to twitch.tv/runjumpstomp again. If you haven't already, bookmark that and come back for the live stream because we're going to be co-streaming it. I'm really looking forward to it. There we go. There's the big story out of the way. Direct, predict, control save. Well, you know what, Zap? Square can't port games to PC very well, but they do pretty well on console. Hell, Final Fantasy VII's been ported to iOS. I don't see why they couldn't port it to the Switch easily enough. And not the remake. Not the remake. Almost started recording and realized I needed to reread this real quick. All right. Where's the number? Where is it? Where's the number? I can't find the number. Okay, here we go. In its first year, the Sony PlayStation 4 sold 1,143,592 units in Japan. That's pretty impressive. Japan really likes mobile platforms, and there's no better evidence than the fact that the Nintendo Switch sold 3 times that amount, or almost 3 times that amount, 3.8 million units in Japan in its first year. They tripled the PS4's debut year. That is a really impressive number. Now, I know, like I've said before, that Japan really prefers portables to home consoles, and that's because they're always on the go, and they have a lot of public transportation, and gaming is very, very mainstream over in Japan. So, you know, pulling out your Switch or your 3DS is extremely common over there. And that being said, to triple the PS4's first year numbers, that's really, really impressive. And I just have to say that Nintendo Switch, it's the best-selling console of all time in Japan. It's the best-selling console, best selling or fastest selling is what I meant to say. In the US, I think that there was also in France, as well as one other European country that I read about. And you know what? Everybody was counting Nintendo out. Everybody was saying, well, after the Wii U, Nintendo's done. But it looks like Nintendo's back. And, you know, every once in a while I tell myself, I got to stop doing these stories about how many Switches Nintendo has sold. But it's just so impressive. Like 3 times the number of PS4s. And you have to keep in mind that it was really, really hard to get in Japan. I mean, it was hard to get everywhere, but they had people who would line up by the hundreds in order to enter a lottery to be able to buy the system. So in Japan, it was really, really hard to get, but it was also a whole lot of Switches were sold. So it's not that Nintendo was restricting supply like everybody was saying. It's just that people were buying so many of them. And I think that Nintendo's really done well, and I really don't have much else to say about that, but almost 4 million units just in Japan in the first year, that is a crazy, crazy number. All right, we'll call that number, I guess. Save. Call of Duty Black Ops 4 was announced today. Do you think this could be in the Direct? Well, Zap, I don't know. I mean, that's EA, right? Or is that Activision? Is that Activision or EA? It doesn't matter. I think that what we will probably hear from if we're going to get a Call of Duty on the Switch, I think it'll be an older version rather than Black Ops 4. I think it will be like the what's the whatever the last one, the World War II one is. I think that's probably much more likely to happen. Um, but you never know. You never know. Res TV says it wasn't in the press release that Activision put out, so doubtful we may get an announcement at E3. Well, Res, I thought about that it wasn't in the press release, but you would think that Activision would, Nintendo and Activision would get together and they say, look, we're both making these announcements on the same day. Could you not step on our announcement by announcing it early? Because a lot of people who aren't going to watch the direct, they don't care if it comes to the Switch because they're going to be playing it on the PS4. They're going to be playing it on the Xbox One. That's where they're going to be playing it. And Activision might say, you know what? Yeah, we'll let you announce that it's coming to the Switch as part of a direct because that will give us more mind share with the people who are actually interested in buying it there. Hopefully that makes sense. All right, what's next? Now, Minecraft, no. How do I want to say this? If you've been playing Minecraft on the Switch, there has been one downside, and that is the fact that it can't connect to the others who now have the Better Together update, basically. And the Better Together update means that you can play with people on Xbox and you can play with people on your iOS, you can play with people on PC, you can play with people on Android. Everybody kind of gets to play together. And Nintendo got left behind just a little bit because Microsoft was still trying to figure out, well, or Mojang. I mean, I don't know who to say the developer is because I think it's developed by Mojang and published by Microsoft, but we've gone down a rabbit hole that doesn't really matter. Mojang was having trouble figuring out how to get it to all work together, but it seems like they now have it ready, and they have said that Minecraft Bedrock update, which is the one where it kind of brings everybody to being in line with each other, has now been submitted to Nintendo. Now, Nintendo's certification process can take at least, I mean, it could be up to a month, but sometimes sooner. And I think that what that means is that pretty soon you're going to be able to play multiplayer Minecraft if you're on your Switch, and you'll be able to play with people on PC, people on Xbox, people on iOS, Android, and more. I mean, even like on the Amazon Fire Stick, for crying out loud. And that's pretty damn cool. Who won't you be able to play with? You won't be able to play with anybody on PS4 because Sony is still being that jerk who's like, I'm going to take my ball and go home. And all I got to say is, come on, Sony, don't be a bunch of jerks. Be awesome. You know, I tried to be a jerk once and it wasn't fun. And I decided to be awesome instead. And that was way cooler. So come on, Sony, wake up. But Minecraft, being able to play with all those people is going to be great. And I think this is one of the things that prompted Nintendo to send out that email to parents to say, listen, third parties are going to be able to see your avatar and your username and stuff of your kids. And I think it has a lot to do with this update so that Nintendo's stuff is communicating with Xbox's stuff. And I'm looking forward to it because I like playing on the PC better because the mouse and keyboard I feel gives better control, but my son likes playing on controller, and we'll be able to play a game together, and I won't have to be uncomfortable and he won't have to be uncomfortable. Sand trombone. Poor Resd. Sad trombone. A trombone is the Canadian pronunciation. I call it a trombone. And we'll call that Minecraft. Save. I know, it's like the bot is like, I don't think so, and just came in there and smacked Res TV. That happened last episode too, didn't it? Sad Trombone is the name of my Tom Jones cover band. Oh man, poor Tom Jones. All right. Well, if you no, okay, yeah, that's what I'll say. If you're looking for a case for the Nintendo Switch, I am going to be doing a review of the City Slicker case. It is a leather case by Waterfield, which is this San Francisco company. It looks really, really nice. They are sending me the limited edition retro colors, which is only available until March 31st, which I'm really happy about that. I was talking to them last night, and they're sending it out. I should receive it. They said that they would send out for me one of the earlier ones, just so that I would have a chance to talk about it for a review before the 31st comes. So if you haven't already done so, make sure that you check out youtube.com/runjumpstomp so that you can be sure to see that notification. Turn the notifications on so that when my review of the City Slicker case comes out, you will be one of the first to know. And follow the link in the show notes to check it out. It really, really looks nice. They've got about 1 billion pictures. And like, one thing that I was worried about is that it only has 5 slots for game cards, but then on the other side, there's a zippered pouch, so you can put a bunch of game cards in there. Overall, I think it looks really cool, and I'm looking forward to it. Name. Case. Pocket Camp is adding a bunch of Mario items. Yeah, I wish I liked Pocket Camp too, but I can't stand playing games on my phone. It's just not as fun as you think. Every time I do, I'm like, this should be more fun than it is. And it's because my thumb's in the way. I don't look at this. Look at that. Look at that stupid thing. It's in the way. You can't see me. See? There it is. Hello? All right. One of my all-time favorite games, and I don't even know why it's one of my all-time favorite games, because I never finished it and I never got very far in it because I kept dying over and over and over again. And this is back in the day when you didn't have access to the internet. You couldn't just look up how to get past this one thing. But one of my favorite games of all time, and it's mostly because of the art style, I think, is coming to the Switch, and that game is Another World. You might know this game. It was also called Out of This World, and the trailer came out today. It looks really good. It looks exactly like it did when I was a kid, and I'm gonna have trouble not pulling the trigger on this one. It looks so good, and I hope, I'm crossing my fingers, I'm really hoping that they're gonna have HD Rumble, because HD Rumble would be awesome in this game. So if you've never played it, the game starts out, you're like this scientist, and you've got an awesome like sports car, and you pull up to where you work, and you go up to a computer, and you drag a file over to another file, and then zap, you are teleported to another world, or out of this world. You're teleported someplace else, and you have to make your way through this world to try and find your way back home, I guess. I don't know, because I've never done it. It has a gorgeous, almost hand-drawn art style. I think that the animation is all rotoscoped, kind of like Prince of Persia back in the day, where they would record somebody running and then trace somebody running or trace that recording, like, in order to make the animations for the game. And it was like one of those things, like whenever I see it, this game doesn't age. Every time that I see it, even though it's not upgraded at all, it always looks fantastic. And it's the art style that they chose. It just doesn't age. It looks so great. So Another World is something I'm definitely looking forward to. And it's going to be hard for me not to buy. Hey, Leo. What's up, man? Another possible game, Shin Megami Tensei 5, which has no release date yet. Are you talking about for 3DS, Morgan? Because I know that they've had those on the 3D or on the my brain stopped working. On the 3DS. There we go. The poison slugs suck. There's a lot of things in that game that suck, but it's fun. Oh, it's confirmed for Switch. Oh, you're saying a release date for Shin Megami Tensei 5. I've never played a Shin Megami Tensei game. I've heard that they're very good. That's what I know about them, is that they're supposed to be very good. What was the thing? I got to check my email real quick. I forgot something. Oh, thanks for the follow, Real Big Nick. I appreciate it, man. Okay, there we go. I almost forgot to mention this, is that I got a review copy of Flint Hook, which is, I believe it's out on the Switch now. If not, then soon. But I got a review copy for Flint Hook, and I'll be doing a review of that soon. I'll also do a preview. So if you are interested in Flint Hook, which is like this 2D side-scrolling game, make sure that you follow me over on YouTube, youtube.com/runjumpstomp. Turn on notifications, like I said before, and I'll do like a preview where I play the first X minutes of the game and give my initial impressions, and then I'll play through the game and give a full review later on. I'm looking forward to it. It looks like a lot of fun. So Flint Hook, check it out. And finally, no, not and finally, we're all done. And that is all the time that we have for the show today. If you want to get a hold of me, do it. What do I usually say? And that's all the time that we have for the show today. If there's a story that I missed or a topic that you would like discussed, please let me know at one of the ways that I mentioned at the beginning of the show. If you're looking for a way to support the show, head on over to runjumpstomp.com/thank-you. And you can easily support my content there with a bunch of different links. Also, another great way to support the show is just do a review on iTunes. I want to take a second to thank recent 5-star reviewers on iTunes. That's Bougie Boy 1000, Warthog 30, Law Before Grace, and Miguelica 83. The 5-star reviews on iTunes really do help the show grow. Even if you give a 1-star review, I will read every single one and take all of your feedback into consideration. I used to read the reviews on the show, but it ended up taking too long, so I took it out. But I really appreciate you guys for those 5-star reviews. And if you don't use iTunes and can't review the show, that's fine. Just share the show with a friend. But above all, just keep on listening. Why did I stop recording? Shift R. What do I say? Oh, yeah. And finally, special thank you to Tom Winter and Noteblock for the use of your music. You guys are awesome. Make sure that you check out their stuff on YouTube. I'm out of here, and I will see you guys. Well, I'll see anybody who's right here watching live. I'm going to see you guys in about an hour so that we can do the co-stream. But if you're listening to this after the fact, I will be talking all about the Nintendo Direct at length on Saturday. So see you then. Bye-bye.